UFC, the return of the notorious Conor McGregor. He went in that cage. I knew my game plan against Dustin. It was going to be easy in the first round. And boy, did the game plan did not work for one Mr. Conor McGregor. Dustin Poirier came in. He shot Conor for a bit. He shot for a takedown. Threw Conor off. He had some Vietnam flashbacks of his time against Khabib. He said, wait a minute. I didn't know I was facing a wrestler. I thought I was going to be facing another striker. And Dustin Poirier, honestly, he just came in with a great game plan. Dustin Poirier, what he did was a great, great game plan against the notorious Conor McGregor. He hit him with those calves kicks. He made it uncomfortable for Mr. McGregor. He made it tiresome for Mr. McGregor. And Mr. McGregor ended up losing. The first man ever to knock out Conor McGregor. To knock out Conor McGregor. Wow. Who would have thought that Conor's been finished in the UFC via submission, Nate Diaz, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Floyd Mayweather knocked out Conor in boxing. But in mixed martial arts, one of the things about Conor is this. We always said the kid had an impressive chin. Remember those Nate Diaz wars that he had? That fight with Max Holloway. He had a fight with Holloway. He got hit a couple times. But man, Poirier just came in better fighter. And Conor said it best himself in the post-fight speech. You know, it's just the activity. He just didn't have the activity like Dustin Poirier. You know, Poirier's built for this shit, man. He's been in wars, Dustin Poirier. You know, Poirier has been on a tear since like 2018. Since his loss to Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier has just been a better fighter, you know? So he's used to these types of battles. He's been going at it active. And Dustin Poirier, the thing about this kid, this guy is this, man. People forget how good this guy is. Like, that's just the bottom line when it comes down to it. Like, a lot of people expected Conor just because Conor beat him the first time, it was going to be a layup. Let's not forget, you know, a lot of people were thinking when Dustin Poirier was scheduled to fight Max Holloway, a lot of people gave Max the edge. A lot of people were saying this is a layup for Max Holloway. Max Holloway is going to come in and just wreck Dustin Poirier. Remember that? Remember when Dustin was going to fight Max Holloway? A lot of people, casuals, just the casuals who watch mixed martial arts, who barely watch MMA as a whole, they weren't giving Dustin Poirier a chance. They were going with Conor McGregor. They were saying McGregor was going to win this fight single-handedly. And I don't blame you. The way UFC was marketing it, the way Dana White was talking about it, of course you're going to give this to Dustin Poirier. Of course you're going to say Dustin Poirier is going to win this fight. But the thing is, man, the thing is this. Dustin Poirier is a guy who knocked out Justin Gaethje. Dustin Poirier is a guy who outboxed, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, baby. Do you remember Max Holloway saying that last weekend? I'm the best boxer in the UFC, baby. No looked, ultra instinct, freaking Calvin Kattar. Do you remember that? Dustin Poirier outboxed that fool. The thing with Conor is, man, the guy was shook by Dustin's first takedown. He was preparing his legs for takedown defense. The way that he had his stance was all set up for takedown defense after that round. He wasn't prepared. His calf just got destroyed. And the thing is, I see so many people now saying, oh, UFC lost a lot of money on this one. UFC's done now. Conor lost to Dustin Poirier. It's like, y'all are so stupid, man. Like, Conor McGregor's on a level where he can lose a fight and he's fine. Like Muhammad Ali didn't win every fight. You know, Muhammad Ali wasn't like Mayweather, where Ali needed to rely on a record to be relevant in combat sports. Ali was just a gifted human being. You know, like that's just how he was. He was just a gifted human being and stuff. Okay, let me see who's in the chat. What's up, Mr. Critical? Isaac Barak, my boy G-Generate, my boy J-Mac, Dre Santi in the chat right now. Thank you guys for coming in. Sorry, I'm on the phone. I don't want to set up the computer, dude. The computer has been kind of trash lately and stuff, but you get the idea. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell people. I try to tell people this all the time, man, is that records in sports, you know, those who rely on the record, I honestly, I always tell people, like, it's not just a record, man. It's about the quality of opponents who they face. And Conor, the people who he's lost to, you know, their quality opponents that he's lost to, minus his Ireland fighting days, like Todd Duffy or Joe Duffy and all those and those two boys. Um, but yeah, I didn't put any beard product in my beard, Isaac Rock, so I do apologize and stuff if it looks messy. Same with my hair, man. I've just been chilling the whole time. But yeah, like Dustin Poirier is a good fighter. Like if you look at Dustin Poirier has only lost to really like the best fighters in the UFC. Like maybe not in his early UFC record, but since being in the UFC, Dustin Poirier has only lost to really like championship level fighters. So for me personally, man, I had a feeling Dustin Poirier would have a chance, but I thought Conor was going to win this fight just mainly because Poirier. The thing about Poirier is that he's very reactive when he fights. Where if like he gets hit with a couple strikes he doesn't like, he leaves himself wide open. But Poirier showed his stuff. Poirier looked good, and now Poirier's lined up for a big fight with Michael Chandler. I feel like that's the fight you have to make if you're Dana White. Like screw Charlie Olives, dog. Charlie Oliveira. That dude. Maybe you give Conor Charlie Oliveira. Maybe you give Oliveira a test with a legit striker and see if he can be able to handle the pressure. Because the one thing about Oliveira is that he hasn't fought a legit striker. He did with Max Holloway, and we saw what happened there. He hurt his neck. I say you got to set up Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier right now. Michael Chandler looked phenomenal. He had probably one of the best UFC debuts out there. Like I don't know if anyone would agree with me on that, but I would say that had to be one of the best UFC debuts. Dude came in, did not look scared and stuff like that. I guess you could have. I don't know if I want to see Conor versus Tony Ferguson. You could do that, but Tony's kind of on the downward trajectory. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony doesn't look like Tony Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony Ferguson kind of looks right now. Especially after that Gaethje loss. Honestly, go Conor and Gaethje. To be honest, I would do Conor and Gaethje. Both are coming off big losses. Both have common losses in Dustin Poirier most recently, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. So they both have common losses. Like here's the thing for Conor. I'll go with the Conor trajectory in a second. Let me just talk about Poirier and Chandler for a minute. I just want Poirier versus Chandler, dog. After seeing Michael Chandler and the way that he like the thing with Michael Chandler, his only question is his chin. Because he's been caught in Bellator. Like that's the thing. But Michael Chandler really showed that the guy just knows what to do. Like at first, I had a bad feeling. Like the first couple minutes of his fight with Dan Hooker, with the first couple minutes, I was afraid it was going to be like most Bellator debuts or most like outside guys in the UFC debuts. Like they just come in, they're a little hesitant. They just don't want to. They don't want to engage right away. Nope, not Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler was like, okay, look, I'm just trying to find my reach. All right, I'm gonna lure him with some body strikes. And then once Dan Hooker was focused on the body strikes, he hit him with a clean hook to the head, dog. Like that was just what got it. Dan Hooker was just like, dude, this guy keeps hitting my body. All right, I gotta adjust. And that one body strike he didn't like before he got knocked out. Dan Hooker literally got hit with a nice body strike, and Dan Hooker was like, "Ooh, that hurt a little bit." And Michael Chandler, his eyes lit up. He said, "This is good. You threw me a meatball when you freaking turned your head," and then knocked him out. So Chandler looked good, man. He didn't let the moment get too big for him, man. Like that's the thing people need to understand. That's what made Michael Chandler's debut so great. He cut like a Ric Flair Team Taz type of promo. Beat me if you can, and he did a good job. He called out Conor first. Of course, he's the big name. People are watching this pay-per-view for Conor McGregor. Of course, they're gonna listen to that. And then afterwards, he called out Poirier just in case if he loses to Poirier, he still has the Poirier fight. And then he calls out Khabib for 30-0. And if you're Khabib and Chandler's background, the guy's a great wrestler. Like that's another thing that Chandler didn't show in this fight with Dan Hooker. A lot of people who are hardcore fans are saying, hey, if Chandler wants a chance against Dan Hooker, he needs to he needs to wrestle him. He can't just go in and strike with Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker is a crazy striker. Eugene Behrman, he trains with Israel Adesanya and stuff. But yeah, for me personally, man, great fight. I want Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier. That's the fight to make. If I'm Dana, International Fight Week, July, let Dustin get back time with his kid and Parker. Let Chandler hang out with Hap and his wife for a minute. July, though, you got to set up Poirier versus Chandler. That's the fight to make. Because Khabib, there's no point in rushing Khabib back for April. If you wanted to rush it, because we got to remember, we got to respect Khabib's religion. He celebrates Ramadan. So from like May to like November, we don't get Habib, or from May to like July, we don't get May to like what August, we don't get Habib, like to actually train and stuff. So we gotta respect that. So that's why there's no need to rush Habib for a Poirier rematch, or just even to fight Michael Chandler. You know what I'm saying? Michael Chandler needs at least one more win in the UFC before he can call it Habib. What better way for him to fight someone than Dustin Poirier, man? Like Poirier is a guy that's entertaining. Never been in a bad fight since he's moved up to lightweight. Fight of the night records at featherweight and lightweight. You got to just do that for International Fight Week. And then if you can also put in maybe Covington versus what's it called? Covington versus Masvidal on that fight night card too, on that International Fight Week card. Ooh, you got yourself a huge card right there. You won't even need a title fight. Maybe John Jones fights Ngannou and Stipe around that time too. Who knows? Amanda Nunes fights again. She's fighting in March, so she could fight again, dude. Especially gets rid of that girl. So those are just suggestions by me. If I was matchmaking the UFC, I would try to find a way to get both those fights on that card. You know, especially Covington and Masvidal. Woo! But now it's time to talk about Conor McGregor real quick. First of all, thank you guys for coming into chat. Give the video a thumbs up if you guys haven't already. I would definitely appreciate a thumbs up. I know with my thumbnail, I'm going to get some negative reactions. It's okay. I understand. It's all about the clickbait, but thumbs up do help out, even with the negative dislikes. I can't even see the dislikes. This is why I hate YouTube on the phone. I can't even tell the dislikes. What's the dislikes looking like human beings out there? You let me know in the chat and stuff like that, and whatnot. But yeah, so Conor McGregor, what's next for him, man? For sure, Conor needs to get another fight again soon. When will Conor fight again soon? That's up to Dana. Really, no dislikes? I'm surprised. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys who do come in and stuff like that. One like and a dislike. Well, on my screen, it shows that we have 6 likes. So let's get those likes up, my friends. Get these likes up. Thank you. But Conor McGregor, the thing is, Dana White needs to find a way to make sure he can be able to pay Conor McGregor the money he wants, but also put Conor in a fight that's interesting. There's 4 routes you can do with 5 routes you could do with Conor McGregor. Route number 1, Conor McGregor fights really, really quickly, and you try to get Justin Gaethje to fight Conor McGregor. That's the first route you could take. Gaethje hasn't fought since Habib. He should be healed up and rested. Conor, he didn't really take too much damage. We don't know how bad that cap is. I'm waiting for Uncle Dana's press conference to see how bad the cap was, but you know, Conor doesn't look too beat up, so I don't see how Conor can't come back real quick, fight again in April, take on a guy in Justin Gaethje, a guy who likes to leave his chin out there, a guy who did lose to a guy that Conor just lost to in Dustin Poirier, and a guy who's willing to stand and bang with him. So that's route number 1. Route number 2, if he's looking to stay active in MMA, Charlie Oliveira. Guy hasn't fought a legit striker. We know he's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner, great takedowns, but how would he do if he actually fought like a legit, like, hey, this guy can actually stand and bang with you type of striker? Tony Ferguson, he's an all-rounder fighter. He's not like a crazy what's it called? He's not a crazy striker like Conor McGregor. So how will Charlie Oliveira handle actually a crazy striker like Conor McGregor? How will Conor McGregor go against a guy that has a general weakness to him? That's a fight that would interest more hardcore fans, and that show Conor is interested in actually being active. Route number 3, Nate Diaz trilogy. People want to see it. They're still interested in it. Conor loses that one, though. It kind of hurts his ranking a lot. Like that's the problem with the Nate Diaz trilogy. The Nate Diaz trilogy needs to be at the right time for Conor. And the right time for Conor to do that trilogy, it was when he was a double champ. Even though you're going to force Nate Diaz to get a lightweight title shot, screw it, man. They forced Dan Henderson to fight Michael Bisping. I don't know how you can't just force Conor McGregor to fight Nate Diaz to fight Conor for the lightweight title. You know what I'm saying? So the problem is this: Conor's coming off a loss. I want to do the Nate Diaz trilogy. The reason being is the Nate Diaz trilogy is money. It's one of those things that will help. But the thing is, it doesn't benefit Conor McGregor if he loses. See, Conor losing to Dustin tonight, it doesn't hurt him. Dustin Poirier is a legit top 5 fighter in the UFC lightweight division. Dustin Poirier has an opportunity to get a trilogy with Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is a smart businessman. He's not going to take fights that he knows that he doesn't gain if he loses as well. So the thing is, now more than ever, people are going to be interested in a trilogy between Conor and Dustin Poirier. So you're not going to sit here and do Conor versus Nate in a trilogy. Why? Conor loses to Nate. What does that gain? And then if Nate, especially if Nate goes and loses like his next 2 fights after that, because let's just be real here. I love Nate Diaz. We all love Nate Diaz. I think we all love Nate Diaz. But if he goes and beats McGregor and then he loses like his next 2 fights, that just looks bad for McGregor. You know what I'm saying? Or like if he and stuff. Route number 4, as mentioned by many people in the chat. Thank you once again. Who just mentioned it? To retire Tony Ferguson. I think it was Aris Kino said to retire Tony Ferguson. Go fight Tony Ferguson. Now, I'm not a big fan of that fight just because Tony did not look good in his last 2 fights. It's a fun fight. It will be a fun trash talking fight. Maybe we'll get old Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor likes to shit talk a little bit, likes a little jab of the words, a lick of a tongue, go at Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson. Tony's a crazy guy on the microphone with his baseball and everything. So for me, do we go down with that route? Do we go Conor McGregor and Tony Ferguson? That Tony Ferguson just hasn't looked good, though. Like, how are you going to sell that fight? And really, to be honest here, like for me personally, like if Tony Ferguson was on a winning track, yes. Though, would I put Tony Ferguson, who's 2 losses down, have it where he faces Conor, who's 1 loss down? Yeah, Conor beats him, but you know what people are going to say if Conor beats Ferguson now? Oh, well, he didn't fight Tony when Tony was on the 11-fight win streak. See, like that's a lose-lose situation for Conor McGregor. It's like kind of like the Cowboy fight. Yeah, Conor, you came back and you beat Cowboy, but it's Cowboy Cerrone. He always chokes in big fights. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where Conor gets in trouble. That's where the UFC gets in trouble with Conor, because then people are going to say, oh, they just gave him a favorable matchup. And it's pretty favorable if you look at Tony Ferguson's last 2 performances. Yeah. Well, I said Gaethje. I felt Gaethje's the one fight that he could possibly win, because Gaethje fights like Alvarez, and that was Conor's best fight was against Eddie Alvarez. That's why I said Gaethje, because Gaethje, they both have common losses, and Poirier and Nurmagomedov recently. That's why I was saying Gaethje as route number 2, route number 1, I should say, because with route number 1, you get Gaethje. At least you get that Gaethje fight, and you got that. That's why I was saying Gaethje. Like Ferguson would just be a lose-lose for Conor, and then also too, you can't just Dana's great at bullshitting people, but there's no way, man. There's no way. Then route number 5, honestly, change weight classes. Where? Maybe you decide, hey, welterweight's the weight class. Maybe you wait for Masvidal and Covington to get their drama out of the side. Just take a money match with Masvidal. And really, to be honest, like if Conor's to lose 2 in a row, and if the 2 in a row is to Masvidal, that's not a bad loss on Conor, because 1, you can play the whole, well, look at Masvidal, he's so big. But 2, it's just a star fight. It's just a fight between 2 guys who are stars to the casual fans. Jorge Masvidal, super necessary. Conor McGregor, surprise, surprise. It's just a fun fight. It doesn't hurt anything. The reason why that's route number 5 is Conor said that he wants to be active. Conor wants to fight again soon. Masvidal and Covington are playing like footsies with each other, because that's the only fight Dana wants to give Masvidal. He doesn't want to give Masvidal any other fight. If Gilbert Burns gets COVID again or something, I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure Edwards would be the guy that Dana White has on hold. I don't know who Dana White has on hold for that Burns fight, but it's definitely not Masvidal again, and he's not calling Covington again, because he like Dana definitely wants what's it called? Dana definitely wants that fight between Masvidal and Covington, and you got to do that fight now. It's at its peak of, you don't want to waste that fight and stuff. I talked about it earlier, Ari, actually, was that I was super impressed with Michael Chandler, and I said it was the best debut in UFC history, especially because, like, normally when a lot of guys from Bellator come over to the mixed martial arts world of UFC, they tend to be hesitant and they tend to, like, overthink the situation. Look at Will Brooks, look at Hector Lombard. Eddie Alvarez was the same thing with Donald Cerrone a while back. 170 was that was actually the same card as Poirier versus McGregor. I think that was who did Demetrius shot? I forgot who Demetrius bought that card. I thought it was supposed to be the original. What's it called? I thought the John Jones and Daniel Cormier. That was the original card for that one. No, but I felt Michael Chandler looked great. Like he didn't let the moment get too big to him. He just treated it like it was another fight for Michael Chandler. Like Michael Chandler said, "Hey, this is another fight. This is another thing that we're going to do. Hit him with the body strike, set up that body, led to the head. You know, it was just basic fundamentals, and then against a tough opponent like Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker has that Eugene Bierman boxing. I don't know, man. Is Eugene Bierman the most over? We'll save that for an Izzy video. I don't want to get to a UJ Bierman the talk right now and stuff. I'm pretty sure. Who, no, I think Khabib waits for Chandler versus Poirier. I like Here's the thing. Michael Chandler has a legit background in wrestling that interests fans. You know, he's trained with Kamaru Usman before, down in South Florida, and he wrestles well against Kamaru Usman. And we all know Usman and Chandler. Usman is close with Khabib Nurmagomedov to the management team of Ali Abdelaziz and everything. So for me personally, Chandler is really good. I think that if you're Habib, because Habib will have to decide by April. Like, because I don't think if we're going to see Habib again, it's not going to be till the end of the year. Because if Habib hasn't made a decision by April, like the only way I would see Dana trying to hotshot Habib is if Conor won. Because if Conor won this fight against Poirier and he convinced Habib to do so, you do that fight in April. Because you get Habib right before Ramadan. Because we always have to remember like what's it called? At least when you go, we always got to remember. Sorry, I just drew a blank there. We always got to remember Habib is a practicing Muslim and that he celebrates Ramadan. So we always got to respect the fact that Habib has to take breaks during May through August. So that's why you got to get Habib back in April. And Charles Oliveira, like, I'm sorry, like you're not worth Habib in April. Like you're not worth that April pay-per-view with Habib, So I talked about it, Degenerates, that he could fight Justin Gaethje. That's like the number one fight, man. Like that's it. He has to fight Justin Gaethje. If he doesn't fight Justin Gaethje, there's not really any way for there's other ways for Conor to rebound, but if hardcore MMA fans want to take Conor McGregor seriously, he has to fight Justin Gaethje. He has to. That's the only way he can rebound from this loss, man. He has to. Like in a big way, big way and stuff. No, I get what you're saying, R. Sometimes some guys just can't rebound. I'm just saying if he has to and stuff. All opinions are welcome, by the way, Arison, on this channel. I think a lot of people know that this channel is very open to opinions and stuff. Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. That's how many fans view. That's what I was saying with the Ferguson fight. You can't put him with Ferguson because people will say the same thing with Ferguson. Like, oh, he beat Tony. Tony lost his last two. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that and stuff. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I think Conor. So I really felt Conor, especially if you look at his stance. Conor was really thrown off by the fact that Poirier threw that takedown because Conor was very his stance before was very kickbox based in the beginning, and then he switched to more of a boxer stance once he felt comfortable throwing punches against Poirier. But then once Poirier hit that takedown, Conor was like, "The fuck." He went for a takedown, and then he had what's it called? He had flashbacks with the Habib. Like you saw his face. If you go back and you watch the fight in the first round, Conor was literally sitting there like how he did against Habib. Okay, like he was all like, "What the hell is this, dog?" So he was all what's it called? He was all what's it called? Like confused by that. So then afterwards, instead of, because the thing is, once a fighter throws a takedown, and I don't care if the person's a wrestler or not, you're so used to that person going to try to do it again. And especially the way that Poirier executed that takedown and got on Connor, that was impressive. So that's why I tell people all the time, Connor, he came in afterwards, and even if he tries to check a kick, it's easy for Dustin Poirier to do a feint kick and go to another takedown. Because, takedowns can lose you the fight too. It doesn't matter if Connor's landing all these strikes. If Poirier gets a few takedowns, gets good top control for like 2-3 minutes, that can win you a round. That could definitely win you around. And especially Poirier, like let's not forget, Poirier actually has a black belt, like in jiu-jitsu. Like I think he's a black belt, right? Or is he like a brown belt or something? He's a high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner, okay? So we're not going to sit here and pretend that Dustin Poirier doesn't know how to go on the ground. Conor don't want to mess with that either. So that's why I tell people, if you watch the second round, how Conor comes out. Okay, he is a black belt. Thank you, John. I always forget that. I don't know if he's black belt, brown, and stuff like that. But that's why it's like when Conor came out, that second round, his stance was more, hey, I'm bracing for another takedown. I know what you want to do. Like Conor, I honestly feel Conor overthought the situation too. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to say how I felt analyzing the fight as a perspective person that loves the sport. Conor really overthought that Dustin might actually do more takedowns because he came in a more of a stance to stop takedowns, and he wasn't checking kicks that much because he felt Poirier was going to go for another takedown. And then the way that Poirier was setting up his feints, the way that he was setting up his feints, Poirier was making it seem like he might do another takedown. So Dustin Poirier just came in with a good game plan. Like that's the thing. But that's the thing that what's it called? I was so okay, John. I was like, who the hell? Michael Chandler. Dana White must love Michael Chandler or something, because we've had many former Bellator champions step into that UFC octagon. Eddie Alvarez, a great one. Hector Lombard, Will Brooks, Ben Askren, most recently, and straight up, dude, straight up. When I heard former Bellator lightweight, I'm like, whoa, what? The former. I could not. When I heard Bruce Buffer say former, I was like, what belt did he win? I was like, what? The former Bellator lightweight champion, Iron Mike Chandler. I was like, what? So you're mentioning the other company, the company Dana literally rags. Like Dana doesn't give Bellator props. Dana literally goes, "Oh yeah, we just give them our best guys." Like remember when what's it called? Ryan Bader lost to that one fool, the light heavyweight champion of Bellator. That looks pretty damn solid. That is he Russian? I don't know, but he looks good. That one guy. Some reporter asked Dana, "Oh, did you see Ryan Bader losing to this one guy?" And Dana was like, "I don't care," and stuff like that. And then they said, "Oh, what about Corey Davis going to Bellator?" And then he goes, "So, we give them all our best, we give them all our rejects anyways. Who cares?" You know what I'm saying? Like Dana doesn't like Bellator. Dana shits on Bellator every second he gets. Every second. Every second Dana freaking shits on Bellator. And now this motherfucker is giving Mike Chandler former lightweight chip. I don't know what Michael Chandler did backstage with Uncle Dana. I don't know if they did cocaine. I don't know if he gave Dana a happy ending or something. But Dana loves this guy. And you can tell when Dana loves someone, he loves someone. He loves Michael Chandler. He loves Michael Chandler. During the Royal Rumble, I could do that. That'd be fun. Yeah, why not? Great idea, Alyssa. We'll go live during the WWE Royal Rumble. Sorry for all you MMA fans. Yes, this channel is no more for professional wrestling, not mixed martial arts. I do go on. I do when I'm not busy. Go live on the channel to talk some UFC, to talk some mixed martial arts. and stuff. So if you guys like professional wrestling, hit that subscribe button and stuff. All right, I'm not going to be on here too much longer. One, it's the McGregor, it's a McGregor card, so I like to I like to watch the post fight press conferences. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do too. But thank you guys who did come into the stream. I do appreciate anyone who does come in and stuff. Thank you guys for the support on the stream. I always do appreciate that as well. And that's what I love. I love when you guys show support. But yeah, we got a few more stuff. The rest of the card though, honestly, dude, they set up Amanda Hebos for failure. Uh, that was bad. The other two fights, man, I forgot about them, man. Like Jessica I and JoJo, who cares? None of those girls beating Valentina. Valentina gonna fuck those girls up. We already saw Jessica I get fucked up by Valentina. And then what's his name? Floyd's boy, Maraza or something. He fucked up some white boy, and it was funny. The guy was doing the stanky leg and everything. So, but yeah, Conor McGregor lost. Shocking event in the UFC history. But hey, it was a fun night. I enjoyed this card though. I heard people have problem with the pay-per-view stream and purchasing the pay-per-view. I've had my issues with ESPN Plus in the past as well. So I feel your guys' pain on that one. Hopefully, though, those who are in the chat, you guys were able to watch everything. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming into this stream. I'm gonna end it now. I'll see you guys next time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe we'll do a Q&A this week. It just depends on my schedule. It's been hectic. Yeah, I know. Me neither, Jackhammer City. It was a crazy loss by the Natalia Conor McGregor. Surprise, the king is gone. Have yourself a good one, guys. Take care. Enjoy your Saturday night and stay safe and well during these times.